So here's 14 core exercises to bulletproof your core. Some are gonna focus more on athletic performance. Some are gonna focus on more on like, hey, actually having those abs pop. But I promise you probably haven't tried most of these out. Check them out. This is called medicine ball rollout. It's actually one of the most challenging, I would say, kind of rollout exercises. I'm gonna go off the knees on a pad, roll myself out. Keeping the rib cage down. And you can make it more challenging by being here. This is overhead Pallof press with the ropes. I'm gonna go into a staggered stance position. Bring this out. So I want the cable to be above me. I'm gonna get a little bit of a lean. Keep my ribs down and exhale. So the weight's trying to pull me back. Abs are working crazy hard. So as the weight's trying to pull me back, I'm resisting that extension. My abs have to work very, very hard. So this is gonna be the 1 down, 2 up. I'm gonna eccentrically, so think fallouts, but I call them the Superman, because one hand is gonna basically be stabilizing me on the way down. And then I'm gonna bring it out. You could progress this to 1 exclusively. Incredibly challenging, because not only am I resisting that extension, I'm also resisting rotation on that one side. So this is definitely an advanced drill. You can see that level 1 coming up with 2, making it harder, just going down with 1, up with 1. So this is Swiss ball pike. We're gonna do 2 legs and 1 leg. Again, I really like this one. We're gonna push into it and drive ourselves up as high as we can, flattening out our spine, controlling it back down. So we can also go up 2 and then control down with 1. Up 2, control down with 1. We can also progress this to just a single leg. Much more challenging. Again, we want to try to get our butt as high as possible. And we're closing the gap with our abs and controlling. Notice there's no momentum. What I'm essentially doing is using abs to create that movement rather than hip flexors. If you want to take your side plank to the next level, medicine ball, using the med ball and pushing into that, going into that side plank position, because it becomes a lot more unstable. And this is way, way, way more challenging. I'm actively driving this hip away, pushing into the ball, keeping everything square. And trust me, like that takes it up a whole another notch from just a regular side plank. So this is gonna be a single arm Swiss ball plank in almost like a push-up position. Again, it's gonna get stability of the shoulder here, but core works like crazy on this one. So you want to kind of slowly let go here as I stabilize. So however long that was extremely challenging. Usually I'll do sets of 15 seconds per side, so right, left, and then take a break on that one. So I love the Turkish get-up, but as a core exercise, doing the half get up with a really nice slow eccentric control is a drill we use quite a bit. So if I'm gonna set up here in my position of the get up, but now I'm gonna drive my heel out here, right? I'm gonna push and exhale, and then control down to the elbow, use my abs to try to control that movement down, right? So using abs to come up, and down to the elbow, eccentrically, right? So I'm really bracing on that down part, really trying to control that. So usually I'd go somewhere in the 6 to 8 rep range on this. Again, the key is not just dropping back down, but it's using your abs to control that eccentric, and you'll feel them a ton more, and obviously the form of that is gonna be much better. So this is an angled landmine core drill. I'm gonna keep my knees soft, keep my hips square. The big thing is on this one is to not rotate the hips. I'm gonna press that barbell out. I'm gonna be a bit of an angle too, so I'm not completely upright, I'm a bit of an angle. I can keep locked out arms to make it harder. Bring it to the side. Kind of find my path right there is much better. If I speed it up, I'm adding that deceleration. Whew. All right, so again, find that right sweet spot of weight. You don't want to load it too much, and you can go lighter and add speed to have to decelerate, but you're gonna feel all of that in the abs, anti-rotation drill. This is gonna be lateral Pallof press, where usually we do it in the front. We're gonna do it overhead from a half kneeling position. So it's gonna try to pull me this way. I'm gonna have to resist with my core on this side. All right, so I'm gonna bring it up in front. I'm gonna exhale. Whew. Obliques on fire. So very, very challenging. Again, holding this side down as I press up, and it's trying to bend me that way. So these are called tight rotations, and I'm gonna do 2 different levels. One is, both are challenging, but one's a little bit more challenging. So think like we're gonna go from, if there's, imagine there's a wall to the outside of my legs, right outside of my knees. And I'm gonna stay soft here, and right, really try to, I would say, go from side to side. And as faster I go, it's really resisting. So my abs have to resist that rip, right? But we don't want to go too far out, right? We want to keep it. So I'm feeling all of that in my core because I'm not allowing my hips to rotate. I can make it a little more challenging. Stagger that stance now, same thing. And you're gonna get a little bit of movement, but again, the abs are resisting this. So you can look at that and be like, that looks funny. You gotta try it. 15 to 20 seconds really ripping. Your abs are gonna be lit on fire, right? We're really training that resisting rotation. That's gonna carry over to a lot of sports, a lot of punching, fighting, basketball, ripping the ball across. So try this one out. So this is a Swiss ball reverse crunch. What it does differently is that I'm going to stretch my abs out. So this is, I would say, a good exercise for building hypertrophy, muscle mass at abs, because rather than like a bench, I'm actually gonna be able to curve over, I would say, the Swiss ball, shorten my abs up, and then lengthen them and stretch them out again, right? So I'm gonna grab onto the rig, I'm gonna hang, so I'm getting that big stretch, shorten, really pull it up, control down, and stretch. Really focusing on the abs. Whew. So 10 to 12 reps, nice controlled tempo, 3 seconds down, 1 to 2 seconds up, control down every time. These will really light up your abs. So this is basically a Swiss ball crunch slash, this is supposed to be one of the few things that I feel it's useful for, but it's gonna allow me to, again, get that stretch of the abdominal wall, then contract and reach, but I'm gonna use a plate for it. Again, we're gonna use controlled tempos here. So I'm gonna go stretch that abdominal wall, reach, shorten the abs, and get a stretch. Notice my tempo. It's nice and controlled. Whew. Key here at the top is that reach and pause for a second. Again, this is gonna be one of those we do for 10 to 12 reps, really focusing on the maximal stretch, maximal shortening and contraction, and pause at the top. So this one's called a Gladiator. I think from American Gladiators, when they used to like try to pop themselves off. And I'm gonna use this rig kind of just as something to reach for. So pretend that I'm gonna smash into this, but I'm gonna stop right before I do. And I'm not using a lot of my low back rotation, right? Hips are moving just a little bit, but I'm resisting that rotation. So I'm gonna go slow-mo first. So boom, right before it, and then I'm gonna speed it up. So as I try to punch, I stop it with my abs and rip back, right? And again, this is like 15 seconds, 20 seconds. This will be lit up. The key is obviously to making sure you're not twisting from the low back. You're getting some of that hip movement, and then we're stopping with the abs, right? So, and you'll know right away because, again, you'll feel it here. We're gonna go Dynaball throws and load it up on that same side. So if I slow-mo it, I'm gonna load up that hip, but notice, so when I throw it through, it should load me back up again. And because the hip is moving, again, my abs, my core is resisting that rotation. So I'm getting some of the opening in the hip and my upper back. This is stiff, and then creating power, transferring force through it, right? And again, this would be more of a progression, making sure that we can resist, like some of the other drills, we can resist that rotation. Once we can, we add some speed and we do things like this. So add these core variations, you know, where to add them. At the beginning of the workout, if you want to, after your dynamic warm-ups, if you want to work on your core first, because that's a weak link, you're going to add them there. Otherwise, you can also add them at the end of the session. 1 or 2 of these exercises, plug them in, let me know how it goes. And for more tips like this, make sure you follow this channel.